The story of how Amazon got here starts with a very simple, very dangerous idea. What if you could afford to lose money longer than your competitors could afford to stay in business? That's not a metaphor. That's a literal operational strategy. And Jeff Bezos ran it for over a decade before most people even understood what they were watching. When Amazon launched in 1994, the book market seemed like a strange target. Borders, Barnes & Noble, independent bookstores, they were everywhere. But here's what Bezos understood that nobody else did. Books weren't the product. Books were the Trojan horse. He priced books below cost, deliberately. He'd buy a book from a publisher for, say, $10, sell it to you for $8, and absorb that $2 loss on every single transaction. And the conventional business wisdom at the time was, that's insane. You can't build a company by losing money. You'll just bleed out. But Bezos was playing a completely different game. He wasn't trying to make money on books. He was trying to buy customers. Every person who bought a book from Amazon was a person who wasn't building a habit with a competitor. And once you have the customer's credit card, their address, their buying behavior, their trust, you have something worth far more than the cost of one discounted book. The bookstores didn't panic at first. How do you panic over a website? This was 1994. Most people didn't even have email. By the time they understood what was happening, it was already too late. Here's the mechanism that makes this whole thing work, because it's not random. It's not just sell cheap and hope. There's a precise structure underneath it, and Bezos drew it on a napkin in the early 2000s. It became known internally as the flywheel. The logic goes like this. Lower prices attract more customers. More customers mean more sales volume. More sales volume gives Amazon more leverage with suppliers to negotiate lower costs. Lower costs let them drop prices further, and the wheel keeps spinning. Each rotation makes the next rotation faster and cheaper. But here's the part that doesn't show up on the napkin. The flywheel only works if you can sustain the losses long enough to get the wheel moving. And that requires capital. Specifically, it requires investors who believe the future payoff is worth the present-day hemorrhaging. Bezos sold that vision aggressively. Amazon went public in 1997, raised hundreds of millions, and used that capital as a weapon to outlast anyone who tried to compete on price. Barnes & Noble tried to launch their own website. Amazon just cut prices further. Borders tried to fight back. Amazon bought more market share. One by one, the traditional players either folded or retreated into irrelevance. And that's not even the strangest part. The strangest part is what Amazon did once it had destroyed the book market. It didn't stop. It looked at the next category, and the next, and the next. If you want the clearest, most documented example of Amazon weaponizing losses to kill a competitor, look at what happened with diapers.com in 2009 and 2010. Diapers.com was part of a company called Quidsy. They had built an incredibly efficient business selling baby products online. Their logistics were sharp, their customer service was excellent, and parents loved them. Walmart had tried to acquire them and failed. They were genuinely thriving. Amazon approached them about an acquisition. Quidsy said no. So Amazon launched Amazon Mom, slashed diaper prices by 30%, and began offering free 2-day shipping on baby products. They were selling diapers at a loss so steep that internal Amazon analysis, which later became public, showed they were losing tens of millions of dollars a month in the baby products category alone. Quidsy's investors ran the numbers and realized something terrifying. Amazon could sustain those losses indefinitely using revenue from its other businesses. Quidsy could not. The company burned through cash trying to compete, couldn't raise new funding because investors knew Amazon would just match any price they set, and eventually sold to Amazon in 2010 for $545 million. And the moment the acquisition closed, Amazon raised its diaper prices back up. Think about that sequence for a second. They deliberately lost money. not because they wanted to sell diapers cheaply forever, but because they wanted to eliminate a competitor, acquire their customer base, and then reprice. That's not aggressive competition. That's closer to a siege. But here's the thing that should bother you even more. This is technically legal, and regulators at the time did nothing. American antitrust law is built around a framework developed in the 1970s called the Consumer Welfare Standard. The basic principle is the consumer being harmed? Are prices going up? Is quality going down? And Amazon's entire strategy was structured, whether intentionally or not, to be almost completely immune to that test. Prices were going down. Shipping was getting faster. Selection was getting broader. By every metric the law cared about, consumers were being served well. So regulators looked at Amazon for decades and essentially shrugged. What's the harm? Things are cheaper. People love it. What the framework missed entirely is the second-order effect. If you allow one company to destroy every competitor by selling below cost, what happens after the competition is gone? Who keeps prices low then? The framework was designed to catch monopolies raising prices. It had almost no vocabulary for a company that gained monopoly power by lowering them. Lina Khan, who later became chair of the Federal Trade Commission, wrote her law school thesis on exactly this problem in 2017. She called it Amazon's Antitrust Paradox. And it basically argued that the consumer welfare standard was completely unequipped for the Amazon model. The paper went viral in legal and academic circles. It made her famous. It eventually got her appointed to run the FTC. But by the time that paper was published, Amazon had already won. They weren't just a retailer anymore. They were infrastructure. Here's something that most people don't connect. Amazon Web Services, their cloud computing division, is the reason Amazon could keep losing money on retail for so long. AWS launched in 2006. By the mid-2010s, it was generating more operating profit than the entire retail operation. In some years, AWS was essentially subsidizing the retail business, which continued to expand aggressively, often at losses, into new product categories, new geographies, new industries. The core business was losing money. The cloud business was printing it. And the combination created something almost impossible to compete against. A company that could afford infinite patience in any market it chose to enter. Think about what that means for a competitor. You're running a profitable e-commerce business. Amazon enters your category. They price below your cost. You drop prices trying to match them. You start losing money. You have maybe 2 years of runway before you either fold or pivot. Amazon doesn't need to win in 2 years. They can wait 4. They can wait 6. They can wait until you're simply gone. That patience, funded by AWS, is the actual moat. It's not the algorithm. It's not the logistics network. It's not Prime. It's the ability to outlast literally anyone in any market they choose to enter. And this is the part that should land hard. The playbook isn't a historical artifact. It's running right now. Amazon's advertising business is now one of the largest in the world, and it operates inside the same marketplace where sellers compete. Amazon has access to every seller's data, what sells, at what margin, at what volume, and they've repeatedly been accused of using that data to launch their own competing products under Amazon Basics or similar house brands, priced to undercut the original seller using the very insights that seller generated. Amazon's logistics network, built at enormous cost and loss for years, is now being offered as a service to other businesses. Sound familiar? That's exactly how AWS was built. Lose money building infrastructure, then monetize the infrastructure as a service once competitors can't match it. Same with healthcare. Same with groceries after the Whole Foods acquisition. Same with streaming, where Prime Video operates as a customer retention tool rather than a profit center, meaning they can outbid competitors for content, not because the content will make money, but because keeping Prime subscribers engaged is worth more to the overall flywheel than any single show's return on investment. The structure is identical every time. Enter a market, subsidize it with profits from elsewhere, outlast the competition, lock in the customer, and then build the next layer on top. Here's the honest conclusion. Amazon didn't break the law. They looked at the laws that existed and built a business that was almost surgically designed to fall outside their reach. And in doing so, they exposed something real. That modern antitrust law was written for a 20th century economy, and it's being applied to a 21st century business model with the assumptions completely inverted. The old monopolies raised prices and squeezed customers. The new ones give you free shipping and 2-day delivery while quietly eliminating every alternative.
One feels like harm, the other feels like service.
But the outcome? Concentrated power with no real competitive check is structurally the same. Whether you think that's genius or predatory probably depends on whether you're a customer getting cheap diapers or an entrepreneur watching Amazon move into your category with infinite capital and zero need to profit. Both things can be true at once. That's what makes this genuinely complicated. And that's what makes it worth understanding. If you've been watching companies like Amazon, Google, or Meta expand and thinking, why doesn't anyone stop them? This is your answer. They were never violating the rules. They were winning under them. Drop a comment and let me know. Do you think Amazon's strategy was brilliant business, or do you think it crossed a line? I genuinely want to hear where you land on this, because it's not a simple question, and the comments on this one are always interesting. If you got value out of this breakdown, hit the like button. It genuinely helps this content reach more people. And subscribe if you haven't already, because I put out new videos on business strategy and economic history regularly, and you don't want to miss the next one. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.